The owners also have approved a proposal to incentivize the development of minority coaches and executives. That's a story Peter King had over the weekend, and it's very simple. There's no reward for hiring a minority coach or general manager. At one point earlier this year, there was a proposal that teams would be rewarded with compensatory draft picks for making those hires. There was great pushback, and rightfully so, because why do you reward someone, as Tony Dungy said, for doing the right thing? The reward now comes for developing the candidate who becomes a head coach or a general manager. And if you have an Eric Bieniemy, for example, who becomes the head coach of a team like the Texans next year, the Chiefs get, the way it was proposed, 2 third-round compensatory picks, one this year, one the next year, if the coach or executive worked for you for at least 2 years. I have no problem with this because everything the NFL has tried to increase diversity in the ranks of coaches and executives hasn't worked. So the incentive here is to have a robust and inclusive pipeline that will then allow minority candidates the same opportunity. And we get away from the who you know and who you're related to create these chances. And you create the incentive to break from this mold where, and we see it all the time, who do coaches hire? They hire people they know. They hire people they're related to. They hire people related to a friend of theirs who's coaching another team. So it's not direct nepotism, but it's indirect nepotism. It happens all the time. So this is, I think, an effort to shake away from that a little bit and see if it works. And it can't hurt, Shireen. They may as well give it a try.
Yeah, I actually like it, Mike. And the only negative I see, of course, is a team in the same division, say the Broncos are looking for a head coach. They may go, nah, we're not going to hire Eric Bieniemy because we don't want the Chiefs to get 2 extra third-round picks. That's the last thing we want to see is them get extra picks. But otherwise, I really, really like this. And I do think it will help with minority hirings, not only at the GM level where there's only 2, not only at the head coaching level where there's only 4, not counting the 2 interim guys, but at coordinator positions, assistant positions, because you want to groom those guys to come up so you do get those draft picks. So 3 of the last 20 head coach hirings, Mike, not counting the interim jobs, have only gone to minorities. So 3 of the last 20. That's just not enough, and something needs to be done. For more of that, I think this helps. I think it does incentivize those lower level positions because you want to groom them to come up.
There's always the potential for unintended consequences, but I think in this case, who cares? Let's just give it a try and see if it works. And if it gets to the point where it's working and we see greater representation of minority coaches and general managers, then you can end that practice. You can go back to the way it always was because the teams will have gotten away from this time-honored tradition. And you know, you rarely hear people criticize coaches for engaging in blatant nepotism. And I think one of the problems is ownership always does it because it's a family-run business in many cases. Who are you going to give it to? What are you going to do when you die? Just tell your family, oh, well, we don't want any nepotism, so go sell the team instead of one of you running it. And I think it becomes potentially hypocritical for, let's say, Robert Kraft to tell Bill Belichick you can't hire your kid when Jonathan Kraft is working elbow to elbow with Robert Kraft to run the team. I think that's part of it. And I also know from talking to coaches that it's a way to make up for all those years of not being around. Kid grows up, kid comes to work for you, and you are together an intensely crazy amount of time after 18 years of dad never being around. And I think that's part of it too. So, look, I'm not saying it's right or wrong. It's just the way it is. But this new approach could break away from that and create more opportunities. Because I think what is wrong about it, if you are getting people who are getting jobs based on who they know and who they're related to, you're not getting the best people in those jobs. And then the best people aren't percolating to the top of the profession, whether it's as a head coach or a GM, Shireen.
Absolutely, Mike. And you look at the job that Raheem Morris has done in Atlanta, and I sure hope that the Falcons give him a chance to get the head coaching job, give him a second chance. He obviously was the head coach in Tampa Bay for a while, but he's done a fantastic job there. And you look at the minority coaches now, Ron Rivera, Mike Tom, they're doing great jobs. I know we're going to talk about Anthony Lynn a little bit later, who's had a rough season, but these minority coaches are doing great jobs. You see the job that Eric Bieniemy is doing in Kansas City, and you hope he's the next to get the chance. He should have gotten a chance, if not this year, last year. The last couple of years, he should have gotten a chance, and he hasn't gotten that yet, and I hope somebody does give him a chance this offseason.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.